This is 7 National News, and in our top story, His Highness Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, met with Matteo Renzi, the Prime Minister of Italy, and discussed ways of enhancing discussions on a number of regional and international issues of mutual interest. The meeting came after the Crown Prince met with Pope Francis on Thursday to discuss peace and tolerance, and who also toured the Vatican Library and Museum. He was also accompanied by His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Renzi welcomed their Highnesses and expressed his appreciation for the important visit that contributes to the strengthening of bilateral cooperation between both countries and its people. The meeting included a review of relations between the two countries, and both sides discussed several possibilities for their enhancement, including capitalising on the resources of both nations in an effort to evolve economic and investment relations. Earlier in the day, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces and Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who's the Vatican's Secretary of State, witnessed the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding on the mutual exemption of visa requirements for holders of diplomatic and special passports for both sides. The MOU was signed on behalf of the UAE by His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, while Paul Gallagher, the Secretary for Relations with States, signed on behalf of the Vatican. And the historic meeting between His Highness Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, with Pope Francis, the head of the Roman Catholic Church at the Vatican, sends the UAE's strong message of coexistence to the world. That's according to an FNC member. Dr. Amal Abdullah Al-Kubaisi, Speaker of the Federal National Council, stated that the meeting was historic as they are leaders who uphold the values of love and peace and stressed the need for promoting ethics and bolstering humanity. She was quoted in a statement saying that this is a strong and sincere message from the UAE to the world, that efforts should be combined to achieve coexistence and overcome potential challenges facing the international community and all of humanity. The visit embodies the approach of tolerance and human partnership being pursued by the UAE, where people of 200 nationalities and different faiths, tongues and cultures live, work and worship with complete freedom and face no discrimination based on religion, colour, sex or identity. She expressed the UAE's appreciation at the efforts being made by Pope Francis to counter extremist and violent ideologies and attempts to insult religious sanctities, as well as helps Muslims and Christians in countering all manifestations of hate. The Dubai Charity Association spent over 2.4 million dirhams on purchasing 6,400 sacrificial animals during Eid al-Adha this year. They were distributed to beneficiaries locally and in 41 countries. Ahmed Mismar, the Secretary General of the Dubai Charity Association, said that the initiative is one of the seasonal projects implemented by the Society during Eid al-Adha in order to make Eid occasions happier through meeting humanitarian needs. He added that the project is implemented annually in cooperation with a number of philanthropists. More than 3.7 million children under the mandate of the UN Refugee Agency do not have access to school. That's according to the latest report released by the agency. It revealed that some 1.75 million refugee children are not in primary school and 1.95 million refugee adolescents are not in secondary school. Refugees are 5 times more likely to be out of school than the global average. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, said that refugee education is sorely neglected when it is one of the few opportunities that we have to transform and build the next generation so that they can change the fortunes of the tens of millions of forcibly displaced people globally. The report, titled Missing Out: Refugee Education in Crisis, compares UNHCR data on refugee education with UNESCO data on global school enrollment. Only 50% of refugee children have access to primary education, compared with a global average of more than 90%. Only 22% of refugee adolescents attend secondary school, compared to a global average of 84%. At the higher education level, just 1% of refugees attend university. That's compared to a global average of 34%. In 2009, 94% of Syrian children attended primary and lower secondary education. But by June this year, only 60% of children were in school in Syria, leaving 2.1 million children and adolescents without access to education. The Ras Al Khaimah Transport Authority has launched an initiative to promote reading among its passengers. Through the reading trip and in collaboration with the Economic Development Department, up to 180 books will be distributed on the authority's public buses. According to reports, the books will initially be distributed in 2 public buses and 10 limousine cars. And every passenger will be given a book and 3 brochures to develop awareness on general issues. Ahmed Obed Al-Tuneji, who is the Deputy Director of the department, stated that the books will be updated and more will be added in later phases, both in Arabic and English, on a regular basis. He added that the move will help boost a sustainable knowledge-based economy in line with directives of the UAE leadership. The UAE has been named as the 6th best place to drive among 38 nations. That's according to the latest survey. Findings from traffic app Waze were based on 38 countries that had more than 20,000 monthly users providing data to their app. Waze based the ratings on road quality, drivers' services, traffic, as well as on the happiness and thankfulness of Waze users. The figures come as the number of fatal road accidents in Dubai in the first half of this year rose to 112. That's a 45% increase from the same period last year, while the number of traffic incidents decreased from 1,526 last year to 1,037 this year. The findings are contradicted, however, by the World Health Organization, which found that motorists were 3 times more likely to die in a car in the UAE than in the UK, which ranked 17th. The WHO's Global Status Report on Road Safety, published last year, found 10.9 road fatalities per 100,000 people in the UAE. That's compared to the UK's 2.9, Spain at 3.7 and Italy at 6.1. And finally, looking to other news now, Cirque du Soleil has returned to Dubai with one of its signature productions called Varekai. The spectacle has entertained nearly 10 million people around the world since its premiere back in 2002, and it's now being presented at the Dubai World Trade Center from September the 16th through to the 24th. The critically acclaimed production features an international cast of 50 performers and musicians from 19 different countries. It's written and created by Dominic Champagne and pays tribute to the nomadic soul and to the art of circus traditions. Varekai emerges from an explosive fusion of drama and acrobatics. Creators say that the impossible becomes possible in stunning displays of skill and power, complemented by innovative music and sets. Choreography includes thrilling aerial and trapeze routines, as well as rare traditions of Icarian games and Georgian dance. Set within a forest, it presents an extraordinary world of fantastical creatures inspired by ancient mythology. Varekai is just one of Cirque du Soleil's signature shows, and the touring circus company has experienced huge growth and worldwide appeal.
Cirque du Soleil started in 1984 out of a little city a little bit north of Montreal by a group of 20 street performers. And now we have 18 different shows, 8 touring shows, 8 shows in Las Vegas, so a total of 18 shows altogether. We are a community of 4,000 employees that works worldwide, 1,300 artists from 55 nationalities. So we're like a big family.
In the pre-show press tour, we had a rare look behind the scenes, and performers revealed a competitive journey to join the circus. Olympic-level athletes and artists live an intense life of training and rehearsals, as well as life on the road. Rehearsals included coach Igor Karpov testing equipment, with American trapeze artist Karen McKeeman and artists practicing intricate choreography. Hand balancer Darina from Russia uses the triple cane system, and Rafael, who is a Brazilian master, warms up for his role as a fallen angel. By reputation, Cirque du Soleil is the pinnacle of sport and artistic work, with performers like Cedric Bellisley evolving from champion athlete to celebrated artist.
The headquarters in Montreal, they train us to do that transition.
Right.
It's very different to compete and to perform. Although you're both performing in front of a crowd, when you compete you perform in front of a crowd or judges, and when you perform in Cirque you also perform in front of a crowd, but you're performing for different reasons.
Yeah.
Right now we're trying to connect with the audience. So it's I enjoy it way more than competing.